Spiral Knights podcast, hosted by Lord Hood, Lazarus Clay, and Zagreus.
Episode 63, recorded on January 12th, 2014.
This is Lord Hood.
This is Zang.
And this is Lazarus Clay. Welcome to the Arsenal podcast. Today we are joined by the famed and ever prestigious Banana Unicorn Perronius.
That is I, the Banana Corn himself.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
It's good
Pleasure
to have
be
you
back.
Alright, so Zang, you're going to be stepping in and out this show?
Well, it's not that I'm going to be stepping in and out of the show. I just have to step out quickly, and then I'll be back as quickly as I can, because
You're in a top secret assignment and your Wi-Fi is dodgy in Somalia.
No, it's Biscotti. She wants me to go hunt down some wolvers for her next dish. And HRPV knows the key to proper cooking on the battlefield is to tenderize and cleave simultaneously, thereby prepping the course early enough to be able to add the spice just when you need to.
I suggest a Triglav for this use.
Honestly, I prefer the Mighty Battle Cleaver because that way the edge cuts cleanly through them without smashing the bones too much.
Fair point, fair point.
The Arsenal, the cooking podcast show.
I should just have a point. I should just have a point in the show where I'm like, and welcome to Cooking with Zang and Betty.
That would be great.
I like it.
That would be the most amazing thing ever.
Alright, well don't take that lockbox with you when you go, and we'll see you when you get
the
back.
lockbox here. Hood, you hold the lockbox. I can't open it today.
You just pass it through the internet to me. Okay, I got it. Thanks. Just came out of my computer screen.
Alright, well, just...
Magic teleporting powers go.
Alright, well,
Okay.
just announce your presence when you get back, Zang.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay, well, I'm opening the lockbox now. Insert squeaky lockbox noises.
There you
And...
go.
Okay, well, this appears to be a fake pasta cube. Or otherwise known as an impasta cube.
Oh, and it says mission, where it should say missing. So that might get confusing. I can't spell.
Mission impasta cube?
I was all excited for the Imposter Cube mission.
Yeah, I was too.
Seriously.
I was like, what? Really?
Yep, I wrote a mission imposter cube in the show notes, but no, unfortunately
So
not.
excited.
A missing imposter cube is where we're
You
going
just
with
shattered
this.
my dreams.
I'm sorry. Maybe it'll happen one day. No, we had Imposter Claus. He just left. Did you get nothing him?
I think he was assassinated by some Grinchlings, but
He
yeah.
was assassinated by springtime or something. The new
I'm
year.
melting! Okay, and then a very stunning topic today.
It's quite stunning. I'm
Stunning
stunned.
I'm stunned as well. It just has stars coming in front of it. Like, I can't even see what it says. It's just yellow stars blocking it.
In other words, we're talking about the stun status, which is going to finish out our stun. And then, of course, Perronius is back. And for people who don't know, would you like to rattle off what you consider yourself to be or to do as far as Spiral Knights goes?
Spiral Knights only, please. We don't want to know any of that other stuff.
Oh boy. I would be Perronius, Guildmaster of the Night's Watch. I have been referred to as a black hole of CE because I get it and I promptly blow it all. Yeah, don't ever ask for CE because it's gone. Yes, that's correct. GM of the Night's Watch. I
like
can't
me.
stop spending. Punch is my nemesis, and I give him all my money.
Oh, we have a piece of art about Punch in the in the show later today, and it's actually probably my favorite piece of art I've seen in a long time. But we'll get to that.
Is it me throwing my wallet at the screen at Reddit Punch?
It's not. It's punching Punch.
Oof, tempting.
Yeah.
It's
If
been
it
good
was,
to me though.
if I was actually able to do that, I probably would. Like, just hold a gun to his head and just say, okay, start crafting the three UVs until I get some maxes out of there.
You know, the odds of a maxes is something around 0.2% to the third power, because that's
Yeah,
three maxes.
it's
so
low. It's low. Although, fun fact, consistently, if I'm dropping about 10k E rolling on several items, you will, or at least I find I tend to end up with at least one very high or max.
Well,
So
good.
I generally roll my money that way. Is I use it all rolling, but then I'm able to sell one of those items to get more money to roll.
Though I
Yeah.
do like how calmly you say that. I just, if I have 10,000 energy to just, burn on some rolling, loose change, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sometimes I just open my inventory and find 10k C sitting there, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. I'll just go spend it.
Oh, that is kind of, yeah.
Bottom of the barrel.
It's,
See, me sitting here on my butt with my less than 20,000 crowns and 100 energy, and that is my entire current life savings.
I think I have like 200k crowns right now, but that's about it.
I
Yeah.
think I might have spent that this morning. There was a CTR High Magnus sitting on auction at like 170 buyout, and I looked at that and I went, yeah, I probably should. I don't know why. It's about what it's worth. It might be worth a little bit more than what I bought it for, but it's certainly not a resale project. I'm not sure why I bought it. You
Yeah.
want it, Lat?
Sure. I accept donations, I suppose. That was random. I don't know
Well,
what
I don't know why I bought it. Literally. I was like, that's fun. Those are a lot of fun. And the more people I can encourage to get a Callahan, especially one with CTR High, especially for lockdown, because it's funny.
It's a fun gun to use.
Knock
Oh,
you
yeah.
on your butt too.
Just stand
Absolutely.
below someone on the screen so they can't see
Yes.
you while they're capping a point. Just charge it up. Bang.
That is my absolute favorite thing to
Yeah.
do. It's honestly what keeps me playing Lockdown. I don't do it for damage. I don't do it for anything. I only do it to be able to shoot people with a Callahan.
I play Lockdown to shiver mist buster people until they get annoyed, like 2 or 3 times, and I'll get like, oh no, one of you people again. I'm like, okay, take out the Warhammer and Warhammer charge them. That's what I do Lockdown for.
Oh, that's so cruel. I
Like
love
10k Guardian bombing is my life. 10k damage, just because I'm like, how much can I get from just hammer charges and freezing people? Anyways.
it. Does sound like fun. Ladison-Sklay on SK, right?
Yes.
On its way. Along with another special gift, just for you.
Well, thank you. I don't know, maybe I got the last donation. Someone gave me a prismatic halo, so maybe I'll push that gun to Lord Hood, actually, if that's alright with you.
Oh, do you think?
But, alright. Well, and then you are also the master of Reddits, as far as Spiral Knights goes.
I do that. I do that as well.
So if you're on the /r for Spiral Knights, you might have seen Perronius around, or you will in the future if you go there.
Yeah.
I hear it's a nice place.
I would be McChubby on Spiral Night or on the Reddits. I go by
Alright, then.
McChubby.
Alright, well, that said, I suppose we should start moving on into the show, so let's do that. Zane, how was your week?
So, Ladison, how was your week?
Bud, how was your week? Mission report goes something like this. So, this is where we talk about... Mission report is where we talk about our gaming experiences since the last podcast, which just means in the last week, usually. And I did some stuff, but I kind of want to go last, so... Perronius, what have you been playing? In Spiral Knights or otherwise, I guess.
Well, in SK, I generally do a lot of Lockdown these days. I have very little left to do mission-wise in the game, having done all the Shadow Lairs, all that fun stuff. Although Shadow Lairs are a fantastic way to farm Radiance, and much, much cheaper than buying them. You'll honestly save about 300 energy just by splitting a Shadow Key with somebody, and just running any Shadow Lair, you will get more than 50 Radiance per Shadow Lair. So it's honestly a better way to do it, plus the crowns you get from the lair, especially if you're pulling it on Elite. So we did that a couple times this week, so that ended me with 150 Radiance. Lockdown, of course, being abused by Punch, that's always fun.
Of course.
Well, I crafted up 40 blasters, and then I decided, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready for the upcoming update, because we all know we're going to need blasters for that. And I rolled each and every one of them once. Picked up a couple of ASI meds, a couple of CTR meds, and one ASI very high.
Oh, nice.
The others were lows or damage bonus versus monster, medium or high or whatever. A surprising amount of highs in the monster. A lot of meds. I was very, very surprised by the meds. I didn't expect it. And fun fact, if you're crafting, out of the 40 I crafted, 10 got UVs. Or no, was it 10? No, 4 got UVs out of the 40 I crafted, sorry. My apologies. So it was the 10% rate.
That's right.
It still seems to hold. It's not consistent. I mean, it took 18 to get the first UV, but even still, it did round out. I was very impressed.
That's kind of discouraging. It's like, oh no, have I stumbled across like a code anomaly in the algorithms for this rolling thing? That's happened. I mean, when I keep getting monster lows in the same order for like 10 rolls on one bomb kind of thing.
You're not supposed to get
on?
the same UV each and every time, though. That's the thing. I do find that they come up fairly often.
Isn't there an equal chance of you getting the same one, though, as any other one?
Not in a row. That is one thing that they've forbidden in the code, is you can't get the same UV in a row. Like, if you roll a gremlin low, you will not get a gremlin low immediately after it. You'll probably get one the second roll right after, but...
Yeah, that was what was happening to me. It was like beast low, gremlin low, slime low. Beast low, gremlin low, slime low, like kind of in a row. And
Hey, look, my newest guildmate is here. Hi, Diosu.
hi, Diosu. What's up? All right, then. And then, of course, buying random Magnuses apparently on the auction house is a thing.
I do that as well. So there was that, and of course, I do play a little bit of Borderlands too with a few of my guildmates. Just when SK slows down, we switch over to the Borderlands. And that's always fun.
Cool.
So that's about what I've been up to this past week in SK and otherwise.
All right, then. Hood, what are you doing?
I haven't really been doing anything.
Again? I'm just kidding.
I don't really do anything. Yeah, just hanging out with guildies, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that's
other than that-
mostly... If he, in the times that he does log on and you click the view game info, it's always Lionheart Guildhall.
Yeah.
It seems. And Lord Hood's one of those people that can just sit there and like talk to people about everything for like 2 hours and still be interested. I get restless when I sit around like in a guild hall. I'm like, I could be doing levels while I do this, but
That's all I do. I don't clockwork too much. Even though the last 2 gates, tons of arenas in these gates, great money.
Yep.
That's
true.
Great
When
money.
they
So,
reintroduce the Tortodrone, everyone will descend back upon the clockworks.
Of course.
bring on the Tortodrone. I cannot wait.
I fought one once a long time ago before they took it out.
Now, here's what I invite you guys then to, because this is what I plan on starting this week. This is something I'm going to test on, actually, just for our YouTube channel that we do for the podcast. But I challenge you to forums.spiralknights.com, where the node is 58831. This is Doc's Achievements. Something possible cure for boredom. This is an old thread, like a year old. But it had a bunch of things, and I went and asked him, and I said, hey, can I take these and use them and like make a video and all that kind of stuff out of them? He said, yes, do it. So I'm going to be going through these because I think these are a lot of fun. These are these challenging achievement things that you do in the game, and he keeps adding them. The thread is still active.
Are those like the ones where you do the entire Vanna mission in full proto with no shield?
Those are, some other people have been posting them, and some of them are kind of dumb, but some of them are fun, and most of Doc's are balanced. The initial Dr. Spacebar, who's
Like,
the initial.
Oh, I
Is it
love
usable?
that guy.
Yeah,
So great.
he's a Dark Fang shield, or at least he did.
Right, so
Spacebar? I don't think so.
He
Dr.
did.
Wowie does.
He
Yeah,
did
Dr.
originally.
Dr. Wowie and Dr. Spacebar are different. And Dr. Wowie did. I don't think Dr. Spacebar did.
I think Dr. Spacebar did a while ago. I have a screenshot of it somewhere in my computer. I can look.
Alright. But yeah, I mean, Spacebar put up some stuff recently, and it's like, clear a Stratum 6 Devilish Drudgery stage with only a Grand Faust. And it's like, okay, maybe. Because it's got
Now
normal
you can
damage
do it
on
with
it.
an Acheron.
With 4 people, yeah.
Yeah, well, he has an Acheron Mastery. In a Clockworks 1, use only the Acheron to kill 100 slimes and gremlins while not taking any damage or missing a swing. That's his thing for that one.
AT to the rescue?
Something like that, yeah. So other people have been posting stuff, but this thread was last posted on 10 days ago. So it's still active. It's only got 3 pages. But I'm going to be going through these, and if you... I mean, I opened up the Spiral Knights Impractical, which is the YouTube series I said, hey, if someone wants to join me, they can do it. And that's because I'm going to be switching to these and doing these achievement type things, and so people can help me complete those if they want to get on, so I'm open to that. So I invite you guys, either of you, to join me on that too, if you'd like.
Well, I'm on the thread right now and kind of scrolling through it, just enjoying very, very much some of these achievements. I'd forgotten looking at any of this.
Right. Well, yeah, it should be fun.
Oh my god, I've done this. I've soloed Vanaduke with a Leviathan Blade. That's
Hurrah.
hilarious. That was one day of sheer boredom, and it took me 4 tries.
Nice. Was that before the...
Before Sparks.
Yeah.
Before Sparks. I would never waste a Spark if I could avoid it. Too precious, really.
I was in a run, I played for about 2 hours and found 3 Sparks yesterday. It's like,
Sporks!
Gabe, what are you doing? And dropping, I said before the show, the troll engine was working hard on me yesterday. I was playing for a while. Like, every time me and my teammate hit full health, every prize box will drop a health capsule. I abandoned 5 or 6 or 7 of them in, like, the first 2 levels that we played. It was ridiculous. And then other things, like, when we need help, then the game's like, nope, no, not going to drop anything for you. Nothing at all.
I've had that feeling before where you are in half a heart, and then you can't get any hearts for the entire level, and then at the end of the level you, like, die, and then revive, and then you get, like, 80 hearts and, like, heart boxes, and all the monsters are spewing forth hearts.
Yeah, just as soon as you revive, then all the hearts drop. That's right, too. Yeah, I'm trying to decide what the game thinks of me. But all of what we did yesterday got recorded, and it will be going up on the YouTubes at some point. Keep an eye open for that. This is the project that I was talking about in the last video that I put out yesterday. If you saw, I did run earlier this week. I ran a damage-free Ironclaw Munitions factory on Elite, and I did it in about 15 minutes, which I was pleased about. I didn't do the boss, because the boss on Elite is almost impossible to do solo. But anyways... Well, you can do it. It just takes forever. It takes forever because you have to hit ahead twice, like rocket ahead twice at least, if you're going to do it solo, because the scuttlebots come up behind you and deal you damage. It's silly. Anyways, that was mainly my week.
Scuttlebots are evil.
Scuttlebots are evil, but interestingly enough, they're affected by, aren't they? Let me check. Hold on. Aren't they affected by? No, Retrodes are affected by stun. Just kidding. Alright, well, let's actually go to Overheard at Moorcroft Manor, talk about some news and discussion, and the stun status. Overheard at Moorcroft Manor. From the helmet of someone who likes some creature that prolongs at a horn to fight with, or something like that.
The helmet is supposed to be resembling to a demon called...
Alright, so again, news and discussions, and the only news is we're still anticipating the potential advent of the Gunner update, the, try again. Winterfest left Haven this week, so no more Winterfest. But they said Gunner update in January. That's what they were shooting for. No pun intended. So we'll see. It was a target date, not a set date. And the Twitters that the Sprout Knights put out to, I think it was at Cyborg Rocks, actually, who's a listener of this show in the live stream right now. Anyways, and said, we will release more information as it's ready for the update. So there will be announcements before there is updates. Just so that's clear. So you can watch the twitter.com/SpowNights if you're interested in that. And that should be a lot of fun. Someone proposed this. I don't know how much talk we're going to get out of this, but I think even you, Perronius, might have some feedback on this. Someone said, I can't honestly remember who, and I'm sorry, I just have it in here, but this was earlier in this week. And someone said, so you should talk about the disappearance of Nick. Why are there no forum posts by Nick anymore? Why is it always other GMs? I mean, what was Nick's, even his last post? I mean, you don't see him, the only time we ever see him nowadays is in-game when he's demoing costumes and stuff. And the question is, has the power been taken from him? Is once, as far as Sega, quote-unquote, abducting 3 rings... and kind of saying, no, we're going to kind of do it this way instead of that way, and it's no longer exactly Nick's game anymore.
Well, I have a theory about that. You know how the GMs, they're like gods in Spiral Knights? That's how they can usually be referred to as.
And Nick is not a god.
And Nick is like the king of the gods. So we're not even worthy to hear his words. The gods speak to us and stuff, and then like the king of the gods over there up on high.
What are you thinking, Perronius?
I really don't see anything worrisome. I mean, Nick's a dev. He's not meant to be on the forums very, very much anyhow. Crazy ODDBAA is the one that typically posts bug fixes.
Right.
Yuri and Talia will post some things or another. I would have to assume that Nick is busy doing what he does, which is working on SK, working on also, and let's not forget the Doctor Who game that's very big for them right now. I mean, this is a dev team of what, 6 that are maintaining Puzzle Pirates, maintaining SK, and still improving Doctor Who. So I would have to think, if anything, Nick is just really busy. I see him on Twitter all the time. Like, that's one of the things, is you can follow Nick on Twitter. He's still very chatty. In his off time, he likes to play other games. And a lot of his posts have been very much, oh my god, busy day at work, holy crap. This is a lot of what he says. He's sitting there, he's probably banging his head against the wall. So, does he have a need to post in the forum? Well, no, he's got nothing to announce really of note. What's he going to say? He can come on here and say, hey guys, the Gunner update's been delayed again, which he probably will, let's be honest with ourselves. It's a big update. A lot of us have seen the guns themselves that are upcoming. I've seen nothing for new Gunner armor at all. I mean, I've looked, and I haven't seen any of the new armor, so I can't think that it's ready to go, because I don't see them just buffing guns and leaving the armor as it is.
Yes, they said they'd be adding new armor sets.
Yeah,
at least one.
And I haven't seen any.
Sure.
I know that, you know, they're addressing the Radiant issue, or it's being talked about fairly often within the GM team.
Right.
There's some very loud voices about it. There's some calmer voices about it, but
well, they believe
exactly, Zach.
that. Oh, by the way, I'm back. Hey.
Hi.
Hey. But they believe that by getting loud and just making a big deal about it, that it's going to actually bring the update up faster.
I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about actual game masters that are, when I'm saying they're being loud about it, internally, I know it's being discussed. You know, because the people that deal with it, all the forums is right now is yelling about the Radiance. And yeah, people are upset. So I'm sure it's being addressed. You know, we all have our theories about it. The main one being that the next T3 stratum or whatever is going to follow the missions will give Radiance.
Right.
So,
which is something that is repeatedly being said, if not anywhere else, at least from me. It's like, that's obviously what it is. Yeah.
It seems fairly obvious. I mean, Gunner update would come with new content. It's not just going to be the guns. It'd be guns, a new boss, new levels, etc. It only makes sense, and that's why the delays.
Right.
It's not just tweaking new guns.
Right, and to be clear, for anyone who's not actually up on the whole update thing, yeah, 3-Ring Spiral Knight said, like the GM said, yes, new boss, new levels. So it's not like you're pulling that out of your butt.
No.
It's like an actual thing, so new levels. Also, this prompt, yes, it was from Glacy, so thank you. We were running Grinchland, and he was talking. And it's something like, so the last post that Nick made was actually for Battle Sprites. And
really?
that whole thing. I think so. Or was it a pot?
No, hold on a second. There's a patch notes from 1107 Dark Harvest Festival Candy Extension. It was in November, and that was the last.
Oh, really?
That was the last one from Nick in the announcements.
Uh-huh.
Then there was patch notes October 23rd. That was when he was doing them. Jordy would toss in a couple, but you know, if I'm going through them, it just seems like Nick is really busy, and other people are picking up the slack for him in the case of announcements.
That makes sense. Again, it's not a guaranteed thing. Like, Nick is gone, what are we going to do? It's like, he seems to be less active, and even, like, in the history of the game, some things would break, statuses wouldn't be working right, and Nick would go, oh, I'm sorry, and a fix would come. And it would just kind of be like that. It'd be, oh, this is broken, let's
In terms
fix it.
of people worrying about that Sega will take away power from Nick, I think that's completely unfounded. I mean, it was, after all, it was Nick who approached Sega about Sega being their publisher. Because they're usually an independent software designer.
That's true.
They usually do this themselves. So they thought that they thought Sega would be a good fit for Spiral Knights since they kind of borrowed some content from
Yeah, that's true.
Sega.
I don't see Spiral Knight, or I don't see Sega suddenly cracking down and saying, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Sega's interested in a profit, and so far as I understand, looking through their financial reports, I did that recently, I was curious. I couldn't find anything specific to Three Rings, but Sega did post a pretty hefty profit in Q3. So I don't think that they would be coming down on Three Rings. I mean, this is not a large portion of their business anyways. I would presume it's a small profit, but it would be nothing that they would all of a sudden turn on Nick and be like, no, you need to do this. So I don't see it as, honestly, there being too much interference from Sega at all. It would surprise me very, very much, especially based on the profits that I saw posted.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely. So, I suppose the ending thought to that is Nick gone? No, I don't want to repeat everything Perronius said, but in different words. But I think I agree with that completely.
He's not gone. He's just working on the game like we want him to.
He's working hard.
And one more note, because this has been presented to me too, people that still, after I've asked, please don't come to me with your gripes and complaints, because I'm not going to talk about them on the show. And then, look, here I am. But I'm condemning you. Don't do it. But people saying, Three Rings isn't telling us enough. Three Rings is telling us too much. Three Rings is, like, predicting things that they can't control. Three Rings is just extending things just to be...
Yeah, maybe Nick isn't posting because he doesn't want to get mobbed by complainers.
But you can't please everybody. At the beginning, people said, GMs, you aren't telling us enough about these updates. So, Guildhall... Battle Sprites UI update, they said, look, these things are coming, ooh, fun.
And they gave a lot of information about this, too.
And they did.
Really long.
And
descriptive.
then all the people said, oh, why don't we have this right away? And I'm like, are you stupid?
Yes.
And
you can't just immediately want something immediately like that, because then it's going to come, but then you're going to get upset. It is literally set up for failure to demand for something so, like, immediately. Because that's essentially saying, I want this, and then you get it, and then it's like, oh, it's not perfect, you need to change this about it and make it better. That's what they're trying to do without releasing it immediately, so that we don't get angry about it later on in the future.
Well, I challenge any complainer to write about maybe 50,000 lines of code into a coherent string and then complain about not being quick enough.
I like that. Also, I like what Zeddy's saying. I think if enough people in the forums were to say, I think Three Rings should give everyone free cake, and then Three Rings says, okay, and shows up at everyone's door with cakes, there would still be complainers. I wanted my raspberry cake, I wanted my cheesecake, I got my cake after he did. And it's just, A, immaturity, B, you can't please everyone. And that's just kind of how it is. That's the only point I wanted to make on that.
Yeah.
Just as far as the update goes. And the advent of the Gunner update, I'm sure it's going to be, they're going to announce some things and saying, because they said we're changing some of the general mechanics of guns. And they're going to say, look, range changed, guns work differently now or whatever. And people are going to go, you're ruining the game. And here on the show, we're going to say, shut up. And that's going to be it.
You can't ruin the game because it belongs to them.
Zeddy says, sorry, the cake is totally unbalanced. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But anyways,
Zeddy.
All right. Well, I think that's all on that. Unless anyone else has any concluding remarks.
No, I'm good on that particular
I'm satisfied.
one.
Curl my handlebar mustache around my pointer finger. All right.
Yes.
Well, then we're see here.
Yeah.
Put your name up in lights. Make a star, see?
Wow,
All right.
you're good at that.
You'll be stunning. Ooh, you see what I did there?
I see what you did
Talking
there.
about the stun
I
status.
see what you did there. I don't like what you did there.
Alright, so, stun. I will be leading the charge on this one because I went through all of the information and you guys can jump in and feel free to interrupt me whenever you'd like and give your own input
Yes,
on this.
Okay.
What he means by going through the information, he just stood there while a lumber just whacked him for like 3 hours. And it was like, ooh, yeah, so very not interesting. And wrote down notes on it.
Yes. So this is how it feels to be stunned. Yes.
Quite. Indubitably.
I didn't actually include that, but let me go to Zeddy's doc. He's always very creative. Zeddy, thanks to him, as with every week for every status we discuss, because he does all the work. We just report it. Literally, he does everything and does hours of testing and just says, hey, Ladison, this is cool, and then tells me a bunch of stuff like, how'd you even do that? He's like, it was long, and it was painful, and it was awful. Here you
Well,
go,
you know, when
enjoy.
reporters are talking
This
about...
is why I fanboy about Zeddy, by the way.
He's the best.
When
Totally.
reporters
You
are
don't
talking about
fanboy
anything like
squeal,
that,
do you?
it's always like that.
What's that?
You don't squeal. You don't do the fanboy. You don't do the fanboy / fangirl squeal. Please tell me you don't.
No, never. I no, of course not.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
No.
Zeddy says
I just
Sorry.
respect it.
all the respects.
Yeah.
And my apologies for
All
interrupting again.
of my respect.
Zeddy says, stun is a general effect that represents partially but temporarily shutting down your opponent's body through blunt trauma, crippling pain, sensory overload, or other disruptive tactics.
I am familiar with this quite well because Betty likes to stun people. Betty
Indeed.
likes to stun all the things.
Zeddy says Perronius doesn't squeal, he just grows extra beard in respect. What?
Boy, Perronius wishes he could grow a decent beard.
Hey, I have a decent beard. If I could pull up the video right now and they could show that, I would show off my decent beard.
I don't. My beard looks like it's terrible. It's not. You know, it's a shame to my Italian roots. I'm not gonna lie. I hang my head in beardless shame.
Zang, are you not Italian rooted too?
No, I have Italian roots. What are you doing? Skype, what are you doing?
I have absolutely no
Skype.
Italian blood.
Skype, stop it.
Okay, well, here we go. Here's what stun is. What is it? Stun targets have reduced movement and attack speed. That's all it does. People say, does it reduce your charge time? No. It doesn't slow your charge time filling up, but what it does is every time you take on a status, it knocks the meter down some. So if you walk into a poison haze bomb and get poisoned while you're charging a bomb over your head, it knocks it down some. Same with stun. So if you're trying to charge something and then you get stunned, it's just going to knock the bar down some. That's just how it is. It doesn't reduce the charge time, it just makes it take longer because it's got to refill again. And, you know, stun used to be actually kind of really broken. Like, it was unfair both on the against the players and for the players, depending on what you were fighting. And it's kind of been mostly fixed now, but I will be doing a spell and it's impractical to discuss the history of the status because that's kind of not relevant here. We're trying to be... That's for the impractical stuff. We're trying to be practical here, so...
Why is my webcam video not working?
In discussing
I'm trying to
obsolete
show off my
things
brilliant
like
beard.
that,
It
There's
won't
already
let me
jokes
bring up
on
my
you.
stupid... Skype, why do you fail?
It may
is
have
why
something
you
to do
fail.
with the fact that we're in a group call, and
Oh.
it doesn't... You have to pay for group calls, or for group
Dang.
video, so that might be it.
That's fine. Then that's fine.
Maybe we'll do it after the show or something.
Sounds like
Yeah.
you need an Imager link.
Oh yeah, webcam screenshot,
Nah.
go.
Let me see.
If you post it in the live stream chat, it's going in the show notes.
Oh yes,
saying.
please.
The website show notes. It'll be labeled, it'll be in the Spiral Order Recon. Zang! Beard. Go.
The bearded Zang.
Stunning beard. Stun lasts for a much shorter time than other statuses, and this is for a good reason, because enemies that are slowed down by sufficiently strong stun for a long enough time basically become a complete joke. They become the punching bags in the guild hall, where you beat on them until they die. So, that said, stun is likely only intended to create a short window of opportunity to deal damage. It's basically a open the enemy, deal some damage, and then continue fighting as normal. Now, this discussion so far has had a distinct lack of numbers. So let me remind you of how statuses
No,
work.
not numbers.
Always numbers. And I'm getting better. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain this, and when I figure out the exact best way, I'm going to memorize it and lock it in, and that's going to be how it goes. But anyways, remember how statuses work. So you take the attacking status number, you subtract the defensive status number. So the enemy status that's being dealt minus your resistance. And the final number lands between a scale of -6 and 8, where -6 is the most resistant, 8 is the most vulnerable. And so because you are taking the attack and subtracting the defense, and you want to get as small of a number as possible, having big defense numbers is good. So more defense is better, and for obvious reasons. And it'll bring that number farther down because you're subtracting a really big number. You're trying to get as close to -6 as possible. -6 is most resistant, whereas 8 is the most vulnerable. 8 is where you get frozen for 9 seconds and get poisoned for 14 and all that nasty stuff. So... And then the last thing that we haven't really been propagating, because I've always been confused about this, but Zeddy cleared it up for me today, actually, is once you reach that more than -6, that final resistance, if you can clear that, you are immune to the status, assuming that the strength of the status being the attacking status is less than 3.5. Most enemies in the Clockworks deal a 4 status, which means it's kind of hard to be resistant to some things. It's impossible to be resistant to some things like Polaris. Polaris is strong shock. So that's 4, so you can't be resistant to that no matter what you do. But say a bomb deals a 0 strength, so that's within the parameters. So as long as you can get more than -6 defense, or 6 defense, you'll go below -6, you'll be immune.
Easiest way to describe that, by the way, is a max and a high. To be a haze walker, it's a max UV and a high UV, or take a Skulver's freeze resist, and a Snarlax's freeze resist, which gives you your max and a high, and you can freeze walk in lockdown. That's the easiest way. Max and a high.
That's a good point. And if you're wearing full Snarlax, you're at -6 and you will freeze.
Correct.
Albeit for 4 seconds, but you will freeze.
That's plenty of time.
It's true. It's enough time to charge up a hammer.
Yeah, it is.
But of course... And the reason for that, let me just explain that real quick too, is because Snarlax has +3/+3 on its freeze for the helmet. And so you take the 0, which is the bomb, and subtract 3, so subtract 6, you get to 6, to -6. So you're as resistant as you get, 4 seconds of freeze, but you're not over that border. Skulver is +4/+4, so that'll take you to -8. -8 is over the border, and it works. So, there you go. So
for a medium resist, by the way, I don't know if Zeddy could confirm it. I believe it's 2 maxes and a med. Am I correct on that, Zeddy?
For what?
Or Lad, if you know it. For a medium resist, so moderate, I should say.
You have to clear -8.5.
Yeah, math is not my strong suit.
Okay. Well, yeah, you have to clear 8.5, so you need a max,
Okay.
and you need a low, and you'll be
Perfect.
clear. Ah, there's Glacies.
Perfect. No,
That's right.
two people I respect very much with regards to numbers. So
4 + 4 + 1 is -9. -9.
The banana corn's beard grows even more.
Indeed. I now have 3 beard hairs. It's amazing.
/clap. All right. Stun is actually...
It's okay. You'll reach mine in about a few years.
Excellent.
Spend more time around Zeddy. Accelerate the beard growing process. You guys should advertise this or something. Okay. So it's
Drink
actually,
coffee.
you'll be pleased by the lack of numbers this time, because fire and freeze and shock and, well, not shock, but fire and freeze and poison, it's easy to get lots of numbers for those. Stun's actually kind of hard because there's no armor with negative stun resistance. So it's kind of hard to test. But at the shortest, stun lasts as little as a single second or less, which is compared to fire and freeze's minimum 4 seconds and poison's minimum 5 seconds. At the longest, stun will last 8 seconds compared to fire and freeze's 9, and poison, which can last for up to 14 seconds. So stun is it's the shortest lasting status. So that said, here's what stun does. Slows movement speed decrease, but they can still move around slightly for a short amount of time. For a longer amount of time, immobilize enemies. They can attack faster, but they cannot move. They deal damage when they thaw. So is there ever a reason to use stun over freeze? And my
is this an opinion question?
Yes.
I would say stun can be used over freeze, but the issue with it is you have to be... Well, the thing about that is because they are slowed down and their attack speed is slowed down as well, you can take advantage of that in multiple locations. But with freeze, you get that extra... Doesn't freeze give you like an extra little burst of damage when you freeze them?
It's
When
not
they
freeze them, it's
thaw.
When they
thaw.
break, yeah.
But only when they thaw naturally. When you break the freeze, they don't take damage. Now,
No.
Diosu also makes a great point, and one of the ones that I do support with stun. Stun isn't broken by an attack like freeze is. So you smoke something that's stunned a few times, it's more...
It's more than likely probably going to be dead.
It's more dead
Not
than
only
the other one.
not only that, Zeddy says it too. You can shield bump a stunned enemy. So
Yeah. You can
It's- it's
shield
less-
you can shield bounce some. You can just use the regular shield like repel thing. I forget what that's called.
Yeah, shield
Sue
bump.
me. Shield, yeah, shield bump. You can just shield bump them too. They're just. It's a really easy. It's a really easy status to utilize. Well, I've actually found it very easy to use nowadays, considering the fact that I use it frequently when I'm swinging my mighty battle cleaver.
It's true.
not only that, but you can add different statuses with stun.
Yep.
Versus with freeze, anything's going to break that freeze, negating it, right? So for me, yeah, there's always a reason for stun. I prefer stun over most other statuses.
Yeah.
A being a Callahan user.
It's
I
really
love-
nice
I love
to
the stun
stun.
effect.
It's really nice to stun monster mobs that have really fast movement speed in periods of
Oh,
time,
yeah.
like Devilites and Wolvers. It's just really nice to pin them down because then they can't move as quickly as they usually do. And in the case of Devilites, you can hit them with your attack before they can even throw their whatever the heck they intend to throw at you.
Zeddy's also saying something that's interesting, and that's stun has got some very reliable sources, like shield bumping, or shield bashing, rather, and that kind of thing. So, what I was thinking going into writing that question down is, well, they each have their uses, if only because monsters have different resistances to them. Like slimes, they freeze, and they don't stun. Beasts are the opposite. Beasts stun, but they don't freeze very well. Like, don't freeze a tier 3 Wilver because it's pointless, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's got usage of sorts.
Well, there's always different circumstances for using different things. I mean, obviously, when you're doing PvE, there are certain enemies that you cannot freeze ever.
It's true. The point I guess I was trying to make, and you guys took it and made it great, but the thought that I had was, yes, there is actually a reason to use stun. It's not just a shorter, weaker freeze. It's got benefits.
Sure.
So, anyways, now who do you stun? Well, don't stun Glop Drops because they're immune.
Stun all the things!
Except Glop
If you
Drops. Glop Drops don't stun, period.
Yep.
It actually makes sense because there's a thought that says, yeah, stun is a piercing status, which actually makes no sense at all, but it's yellow, and in the same way that freeze and fire and poison, they deal like elemental
The
ticks.
only thing... I think stun is only applied on one piercing item, I believe.
Rigadoon
Yeah.
and Callahan.
And Callahan. But those are the only weapons, and technically it doesn't really classify. More or less, I would think it'd be more related to normal damage, considering normal damage is more or less blunt trauma.
It is. The thought is also that slimes are resistant to piercing and resistant to stun in general.
Yeah.
Wolvers, Grievers, Silkwings are vulnerable to piercing and vulnerable to stun. So here's your numbers in case you'd like them. Glop Drops are immune. All status slimes have a 6.5 resistance, which means that they are over that negative 6.5 limit. If you're trying to deal a 0 status to a 6.5 resist status slime, they will be immune. So you cannot do that to the Oilers and Toxigels and Ice Cubes, all that kind of stuff. So moderate stun and above, you can still stun, albeit for 1 second or so. So you shield bash a slime, 1 second of stun. So good luck with that. All other slimes except polyps have 5 resistance, polyps have 0. Turrets in general just kind of aren't very statusy. Trojans, Lumbers, they all have 2.5 resistance, and that's presumably due to their size. Most other fiends and constructs are at 0 resistance as well. There are some exceptions, get that right now. Wolvers, alpha Wolvers, they have negative 2.5 resistance, which means they'll be stunned for longer than normal, which explains the thought process behind Rigadoon and Beast Bells and Callahan and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then Grievers and Silkwings, and surprisingly Retrodes have a negative 2.5 resistance. Why Retrodes, I have no clue. But Retrodes are the robots that walk around and have a hand.
Does that mean that they're more vulnerable?
Yes.
That means they're more vulnerable. Well, when you think about it, look at how they hobble, essentially. I would think that they'd be easily stunned by... Well, stun.
But they're robots.
Note the fact that part of their bodies are made of tree limbs.
Yeah,
essentially, if you hit them... Essentially, if you're stunning them, you might as well just be breaking off their limbs and basically leaving them to just hobble even more slowly. It essentially does make sense to a degree. Guess.
All right then. So there you go. There's your things. A general rule of thumb is most things stun okay, except for slimes. Beasts and fiends they're better to stun, except Trojans. But Trojans won't stay stunned long enough to you to do much anyways. So now, where do you get stunned? This is actually kind of interesting because it seems like stun was broken, and then Three Rings fix stun and say, "Oh man, we fixed this status. Let's put it everywhere." Because it is everywhere, and here's all the places that stun is where other statuses aren't. Lockdown spikes inflict stun instead of damage. So there's a prestige mission.
Which is nice, because if they inflicted damage and stun, I think that'd be kind of a pain.
It was a pain.
Now, there's a prestige mission during the catastrophe event, the Cataclysm, that has stun spikes also. There is no actual way in the game to tell whether you're dealing with stun spikes or damage spikes. You just gotta stand on those spikes, and that's when you find out.
That's when you find out the damage spikes, and you die instantly.
Pretty much. Many enemies are statusless. They don't actually have statuses, but they can actually deal stun, where they wouldn't be able to. They're not stun classes.
The original Grievers are stun Grievers,
yes,
aren't they?
Yes. Grievers, default Grievers have a haze that deals stun. Gremlin Knockers can chuck axes that leave stun. That says Gremlin Overtimers, and it should be Fiend Overtimers. And those guys, their pitchforks can deal stun. Trojans can deal stun. Lumbers can deal stun. There's probably
bigger
other ones.
Bigger creatures deal stun, obviously, considering the fact that they're bigger. Obvious.
It's a good point. And then the last question, how do you stun? Well, once again, in that formula of you deal the attacking damage subtracted by the victim's, or defense subtracted by the victim's defense. So this is that first number. This is 0 minus whatever. So minor stun is 0. Minor equals 0 strength. So minor stun is Stagger Storm, Iron Tech Destroyer, Big Angry Bomb. Moderate stun is 2 strength, which is Shield Bashing, Fearless Rigadoon, Pseudoruska, where the tooltip lies. I think the tooltip says strong stun, and it's only moderate. Callahan, Scintillating Sun Shards, Vengeful Cloak, Chaotic Haze. All those things deal moderate stun. And then strong stun is Vials and Concussive Firebolt. Only there are no strong stun weapons in the game. Unfortunately, you cannot inflict the status by wearing a stunning costume. Thank you, Zeddy.
Unfortunately.
Lichen Colonies with their tackle attack. Yes, that deals stun too.
No. We'll get stun affecting our costumes when we get limit breakers.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't think limit breakers ever going to happen. And actually, interestingly, when we had that limit break discussion,
I wish that they would be awesome.
Yeah,
I still wish that they would.
People hated that idea. I got more negative feedback on the limit breaker discussion than I did good feedback, which I thought was weird. But
I thought that they were a grand idea.
I did too.
It doesn't really break the game at all, and it essentially just
it makes the game easier where people don't want
the mobs harder. If you can't handle it, then just shut up.
The fourth type of difficulty, the elite.
Sklay Elite difficulty.
Sklay Elite.
Fortunately, the Sklay Elite is dead.
Elite
Alpha,
difficulty.
Alpha.
Maybe.
That's the last elite. That's the last elite alpha.
I would love it if they would, because even elite difficulty has very quickly become nothing.
Yeah,
I agree. I run around and
that's why they're including like another depth and stuff like that. They're just trying to make it a bit more difficult for people who have basically been playing the game like exceptionally casually.
Yeah.
Clip
I mean,
says,
it's such a as to what Clip says, actually, elite difficulty. What? Elite difficulty is just it's not even a real difficulty boost. It's artificial. It's just giving monsters more health and making them. I don't even know if they do more damage.
I think they do more damage because
Maybe.
usually when I take a hit on elite difficulty and compared to advanced, I do lose more health.
ooh, I could tell you why that is. It's because in Elite they deal pure specialized damage. So
Yeah.
whereas normally
I thought-
it's split
so they
among
changed
your.
that. So they changed that. So now even in tier 1 they can deal pure.
I don't know about
Or
pure,
is it in tier?
but I know for tier 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, it's still an artificial bump, you know. Okay, so they deal more, and they have more health, but they don't. They have the same attack patterns.
Hmm. And I was hoping to see more of the spawns that were different, which there are a few in Firestorm Citadel in the triangular-shaped room. I don't know what level it's on. It's on the last level. It is on the last level. And the Wolvers spawn, they are Vogue Cubs in Elite, whereas they're normal Wolvers in other
They would be
difficulties.
Ashtails. Vog Cubs are no longer in the game.
Just kidding. Ashtails, yes, thank you. But anyways, yeah, I was hoping there would be more of those where there would be more monsters.
You lucky bastards.
But anyways,
That's what what should have happened. Would be even then, it's just throwing mobs at you. If according to what Zeddy is saying.
Yeah. Honestly, if they, I'm not think. Well, how would you make it so? How would you make it so it's not fake difficulty?
You remember how the mobs used to act before the initial nerfs, before the Wolver nerfs?
Yeah.
Okay? Remember how they used to track? Same thing with Devilites. They were faster. A lot of the enemies were harder, just a little bit, just how they performed.
so that
Like,
you actually had to play well to get out of
Yeah.
there alive.
Oh, absolutely, and you had to move like the way.
So what if could they consider bringing that back, or is it like one of those
I would
cement
love
things?
that.
Yeah, it would be easier if they brought back the actual difficulty. Because honestly, the only reason I think they changed it so that the difficulty is lower is because they wanted to introduce new players, and to do that they had to add in all the extra stuff that they did. And in doing so, you basically have to decrease the difficulty of the game to interest more people.
And I don't disagree with that. I mean, I've got my kid now who plays SK. He's old enough, and he,
What
he
class
logs
is
in
he?
for the class.
Does he have a class?
What class is he? Mash the attack button. That's
Mash
his
the
class, okay?
attack button.
Button mash.
I hear it
Hey.
happening, and I cringe, and I'm telling him shield bump, dude. Just
And
shield
he'll
cancel.
be a
Shield cancel.
fantastic gunner if he hits the target.
Oh no, even better is I watched him play T2 Lockdown the other day, and he's pulling like 3k damage, and he's just like brandish spamming across the screen. I'm watching him, and I'm like, if I gave you ASI very high, you could be a really great T3 player, especially if I gave you a Nightblade.
Give him charge time reduction very high. If he likes to use the brandish charge, then he's just like
No.
The normal swing.
Spam attack, just spam,
That's
because
funny.
we all know
like
how.
screw charging the blade and actually using strategy. Let's just kill things violently.
Hey, Klippic, I would debate that. I watched it happen. Oh god, no, not full chaos. He's right now wearing full Dusker, and it's everything I can do to keep him alive through the Romulus twins. It's painful.
That's funny.
Painful.
All right. Well, I guess Elite should be, and who was it that said this? Is this Zeddy or Glacies? Yeah, Zeddy. Elite type of enemies in the family where, like, Grievers could have been the Fiend's elite type, leave them as they were, where they send
Yes.
bullets everywhere, and so you'd have elite waves that would, like, be part of the elite
Because I
difficulty.
think there's got to be nothing more terrifying than to walk into a room and have like 5 grievers pop up. Because it's literally like redacted in your pants time. Because they will all
absolutely.
fly to you, and you have to either have a wide swing weapon to be able to hit them all, or you're gonna eat it hard. you're gonna eat it hard.
I'm rather enjoying this screenshot that Link posted. I think it was Link.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen
one
that
of my
before.
favorite
That was a while
screenshots
ago.
from SK ever. Like that's so great.
Right, this is the screenshot where there's a million overtimers in the room.
Yes, spawners. I remember this glitch.
Go Elite.
Oh,
The spawners just kept pumping them out.
Honestly, this is why. That's why I try to kill. That's why whenever I go up against the Devilites, I always try to kill the pit bosses. It might be stupid, but I always try to kill the pit bosses because I don't want any of them to become elite because I hate them.
Yeah,
I hate them so much.
You know what you need? You need to bring your Callahan more often.
I don't have a Callahan.
A Callahan wouldn't help. It would just make them angry in this case. I mean...
No, because every Callahan bullet interrupts their attack.
Yes,
but you need, like, 8 Callahans to...
Doesn't
No, works fine with one.
Doesn't a swing from like a larger weapon interrupt them?
It depends.
Or a BTB or a flourish. Usually, yeah. It's just with the Callahan, I found that if you're just one bullet at a time and you're moving around, chances are low that you're going to get hit. Clippix, right? DBB is amazing. And not that I'm discounting the Blitz. Yeah, you can use the Blitz as well. But I just like the Callahan because it's my baby.
Zeddy says Blitz charge fires 15 Callahan shots. I like that. But, I mean, there's times when Rings...
That's totally valid.
We've kind of slid right into Transmutations, which is our next segment where we talk about what we want to add to the game. So we'll just go with it.
A new difficulty level that actually is difficult. Because
But yeah.
In level design, Rings, there were times when they said, ooh, let's be evil. And they put in Firestorm Citadel in the Charred Court, they put a Trojan in this little tiny room, the first room on the bottom right.
Hey, that was
like
fun.
Fight a Trojan with
fun.
2 Silklings behind it.
I always like to solo that room because
It's the only way.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a party, you'll get killed.
Yep. They put a spawning rocket puppy that you have to constantly kill or it will shoot you. They made the gun puppy danger room. 45 gun puppies and scuttlebots to bother you.
Or if you're alone at that point, you have to like skirt the edge so tightly while killing the zombies so you don't end up getting seen. If you get seen, a rocket puppy's gonna kill you.
Yeah, so what I want is I want them to be evil all the time. I want a hallway that does not spawn 3 Devilites. I want it to spawn 2 Grievers and a Trojan.
16 Grievers.
Yes. No, not 16.
No, you need to be able to make it through alive. Come on now.
Yeah.
Well,
There's difficult and then
Griever
there's-
arenas, you can have more than 2.
Have it so you got 5 of them, but you gotta have them like spawn all at the same. Have them like spawn around you in a circle because if they all spawn in front of you,
Yeah, there you go.
in front of you, it'd actually be very easy for you to bat them all away and interrupt their attack. Because while they're difficult, it is very easy to interrupt a Griever's attack pattern.
And
They're
see,
so predictable.
Zeddy says the Grinchland mission was pretty evil. It was refreshing. I agree. When we first ran, Zeddy and I ran it one of the first days it came out.
I never got to do Grinchling Assault. I think I got the first level done, and I was just like, you know what? I can't do this without people. This is freaking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I ran with
soloed
Zeddy
it.
and I ran with Glacies. Both of them was like, this is actually fun. It requires some skill. It's a challenge. It is possible to survive without using a revive. We did do it. I mean, Krakow did it. Glacies
I did it. I did it, no deaths. I didn't do it solo like Glacies did. I did Elite solo using 3 sparks. It was fun. It really, really was.
Yep.
I think I got past the first level without I think I got past the first level with a single spark of life, and I was like, you know what? This is how difficult the first one is. I can't do this without other people helping me because I can't do this.
Oh, it was miserable solo. It was just not pleasant until you learn the spawn points.
Yeah.
Oh.
And which enemies spawn new
The
waves.
slow status was the thing that got me. And the fact that they threw that into the save Winterfest, that bugged the crap out of me. Especially considering you have to take the path they tell you to take. You have to take that particular path that makes you go through the slow, right where there are 2 Devilites prepped to throw chairs at your face.
I didn't even bother with Save Winterfest.
I
I had
did
way
it.
too much fun with
I only
Grinchman.
did it because I thought I could get a Winterfest scarf because I'm trying to get I'm considering trying to add accessories to my costume, but the problem is I don't know what to add because the only thing I think that'll work is a dusky scarf.
Obsidian wings, do it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have the money to get.
Talk to Perronius. He has 10k crystal energy as pocket change.
Or more than that.
See?
That's very cool.
All right. Glacies suggested actually earlier in the stream. He suggested fused classes like why don't we have undead wolvers or undead's riding wolvers?
Oh my god, yes, please.
I think we brought this up in an earlier episode.
We have, but it's worth bringing up again because we're talking about difficult things. Fused classes would be part because like say beasts come with slimes, which by the way, 3 rings is cruel, but fiends come with undead. That's like these enemies spawn with each other.
Here's an idea. How about for next Halloween, a creature it's essentially like a patchwork.
I think you're going for the Voltron of characters.
Maybe it's got like a lumber's arm.
Body?
No. It's got a lumber's arm.
Okay.
It's got
The Iron Sentinel?
Trojan's torso and sword. It's got
The head of a zombie so it can breathe on you.
I want it to have one leg as a retrode, like literally a retrode as its leg.
No. What I was thinking for the legs is it was going to have like 4 large scuttlebot legs.
You're evil.
So it's this giant like upright spider thing.
But it
Just
needs
kinda
to
like
have part Devilite on it as well.
That has, and have it infused with dark mag. Have it infused with like dark mag. That's where the Trojan comes in. That's where the fiend
Lord.
part.
Or it's Griever, and every time it attacks, it leaves a haze and splits bullets and can fly. Or it's a Silkling and it heals.
Resistant to every damage type and every status, except not resistant to normal damage, baby. You know what that means? That means my Trig Lab.
That means I'm.
Scissor blades.
And you can only attack its back.
Yes, only the back.
Oh, and it can't be frozen. It's Darkfire Vanaduke style. No freeze.
Perfect.
Okay, and I will just say...
And it fires missiles out of its
resistant to
armpits.
all forms of damage other than normal. So essentially, you have to be smart about what you do. So if you only have piercing or shadow or element, no, I have an idea. Have it so it changes its element.
There's a 1 in 10 chance that when you run a danger mission on Elite, when you get to the final boss, the boss wakes up and then gets just knocked off of its space by this thing, and then you fight the thing instead. There's a 1 in 10 chance that happens.
The Patchwork Beast.
And we should probably move on, but
fine.
I'm gonna say this will make a lot more sense if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and pay attention for the next week or two, but this discussion that we just had is Sky Scythe Evil. Just remember that. This
what now?
discussion we just had is Sky Scythe Evil. Sky Scythe is a knight. And
okay.
Just keep that in mind.
Will do.
Hood, you had one thing too, which I thought was kind of interesting. Do you care to share?
Which one?
Your transmutation for the...
I thought some new cool missions, like side missions, would be fun. Just not necessarily an event, but maybe a DLC or something like that.
Everyone wants new content, though.
I think a mission that took place in Haven would be fun. Like maybe.
I actually think I discussed something with a friend along this line. Kind of like I was thinking something along the lines of like a tower defense mission, where you had to protect Haven from an assault of some kind, and you could do it as a team, and something along those lines.
You mentioned that. And it's very, very interesting because they talked about that challenge mode.
Yeah.
And what you're describing is honestly what I'm imagining for their challenge mode. It's the kind of thing I think they're working on. I don't think it's going to be clockwork races or anything like that. It's going to be tower defense style. I can't think of how else to do it.
That would be fun.
Well, I don't disagree, but I mean, it would really, really work as an intro to it. it would continue their mission. I mean, you've got gremlins all over the place trying to take over Haven. We've got the Swarm trying to do the same thing. Eventually, it's got to put Haven in danger.
What I was thinking is that it was Swarm themed.
Yeah.
But the enemies are not the traditional mobs. I was thinking along the lines of something kind of like the Phantoms, but instead of just being blade wielders, there were also gunners, there were also bombers and stuff like that. And what me and this friend discussed was for the last part of the way through the stage, you would get this like special power up perk that allowed you to summon the spirits of Alpha Squad.
Assuming Alpha Squad is definitely
I was just
dead.
going to say.
Is that confirmed?
Come on, Alpha Squad come on. Alpha Squad is...
They could be
Alpha
like
Squad's
stuck in
not
cryo
dead.
chambers
They're not
inside Tinkensire's
I like to think
palace.
that they've ascended to something that we will not be able to understand until the core opens up, which will be never.
Here's my thing, and then there's actually more transmutations here than what's listed in the show notes. But here's what I want to see. I want to see the core eventually open up, and the Swarm has infested the Alpha Squad, and you have to fight them.
I was
That's
thinking
what I'd imagine.
that would be a good idea.
The
That's
fun
wrong.
thing is, I've seen...
Well, let's leave that to conjecture because we don't want to talk about unreleased content that hasn't been told.
Oh,
by
my
anyone.
bad. And yes,
mean-
total conjecture.
All right.
You okay?
Well,
My bad, guys.
Well, just like, if people don't want to hear spoilers or something like that. But my other idea was to have a Herobrine-like conspiracy in Sprawl Knights.
Ooh.
Like,
A what, sorry?
Herobrine.
Herobrine.
Herobrine, like from
You know
Minecraft.
Herobrine from Minecraft, right?
I want to say yes.
Well,
It
the-
sounds familiar.
Well,
The idea would
essentially
be for Sprawl Knights. Like, say the Apocryphan Festival. Like, a few days after that ended, they could have erased everything from the wiki, and then whenever you try to post something about Apocrypha, then they automatically erase it, and if you ask the game master, they'll say, no, we don't have any record of the Apocryphan
what's Apocrypha?
mission. And then
Funny.
all of your Apocryphan
Yeah.
tokens, all of the sigils, they turn into unknown items with a missing texture and things like that. And none of the game masters acknowledge the existence of Apocrypha ever again. But something like that, like a mission that disappears or a person that disappears and all knowledge of it is erased, things like that.
Something that we could all go, ooh, this is fun, over something that's just kind of
Well,
lore-based,
a monster-
creepypasta kind of thing.
Here was something I was thinking. What if... And this is just throwing something out there that might possibly work, but probably might not work. There are the NPCs wandering around. What if every so often one of the NPCs were to attack someone?
Yeah. What if, like, a stranger, if every now and then when you walk by a stranger, like, chips you or something and you fall down, like animation for falling down? Or, anything like that.
That'd be fun.
Having like situations going on with the NPCs, and if like they do attack you, you can actually fight them or something along that lines within Haven, because that would be kind of nice, and it would just be random and unexplained.
Have the gobble snipes, when they show up, have them act like Kirby, so when you go near them, they like and like swallow you. But or just like a monster in the Clockworks that
Have it
exists,
so that when you're opening
but
a
is
lockbox,
not officially
it acts-
recognized.
Have it so when you're opening a lockbox, it acts like the mimics in Dark Souls, and they eat you, and you die, and you have to respawn.
That would be evil. But like
Sparks
basically,
Oh God!
basically anything in the game that the game master's like, oh, I don't know, maybe they exist, maybe they don't.
Just something unnatural and unknown, and some creepypasta along the lines. It would be
Knights
cool
being
if they
dragged underneath the auction house.
There you go.
get snagged.
Here's what it is.
Changing
It's-
the stranger to Slender Man underneath the auction house.
Here's what it is. It's a
Briefly.
thing where if you walk into a
So
wall
that
at
when
a
you go into a so that when you go into a Clockwork run, it's like, oh, you're just wandering through the run, and then suddenly everything goes black, and and the area completely changes, and suddenly you're being chased down by an Apocrean or something.
Yeah. Some strangers
Along a
walk up
very
to you in
thin
Haven.
line where the only way to escape is to run, and if you ever stop, you get
They'll catch
captured
you.
by the tentacles, and you die.
Ooh, tentacles.
No.
Tendrils,
Redacted.
whatever you want to call them.
The
Oh, I
some,
like tentacles.
2 nights.
Spiky tendrils of doom, or whatever they are.
Tendrils.
Hot.
Well, just have 2 knights from the Spiral Order just run up to some guy and like put a bag over his head and carry him off into Spiral HQ. And you hear
It's
like,
if it's like you that you get tugged off, you're like, "What's going on? Why is my knight being mugged?"
yeah,
Well, here's what
Just
it is.
Events, something to spice up sitting around in Haven, so that when people make it so they can get to a scripted point, but only if somebody's shouting something about crowns. After 5 times, they get mugged.
That seems like a coding impossibility. Because it's
well, it could be
user
an
input.
anti-spam feature.
Then people would spam it. You know they would.
Yeah, they would.
So
And
here's
Unless there was a penalty.
literally, this is the last thing, and I'm cutting this discussion short. It is running way too long, and we have not thought through this, so we're going to keep talking about this till Kingdom Come, unless we stop. The last thing is, to finish that creepypasta idea, is there's a graphical... It's one of those spatial glitches where like you run through walls and stuff and you're in the gray. Except it happens under the auction house, like Perronius was saying, and there's like Ratman scrawls and Apocrean like things and sigils on the ground and stuff. It's just like this room that's like this creepy room, and everyone thinks it's fake, but it's not. Of course, it's
Like a
purpose.
no-clipping room or something.
Yeah, it's like a no-clipping room that people are intended to find. Oh, we got a Ratman among us.
Outstanding.
I've watched the video and listened to the audio, and it's creepy.
Of course it is. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there were actually 2 more transmutations. Glacy
Words
suggested
of
that
In the
What?
words of what's his name? In the words of Mullet Mike, it sounds like Yoda getting redacted by an auto tuner.
All right. Seriously, I can't imagine. If you're still listening at this point, we thank you and for bearing with us. I'm going to hold on to these
We're
last 2
sorry.
transmutations for next week, guys. This went way too long. Glacy's Snakes F-17, I got your stuff. We'll get to it next week. This went, like, really long, really fast.
We apologize.
No episode next week,
We
so
like to
next
talk.
podcast.
We like to discuss things.
Things that will never happen, though.
They might.
That's the most hate we get for the show is stop speculating about things that you just straight up don't know. We don't want to hear your general ideas on things that aren't going to
Well,
happen.
you know
so.
what? Whoever doesn't like it doesn't have to listen. It's not exactly speculation. It is what we want to see. It's nothing that we might get. It's something we might get. If you
It's
don't
true.
like it, then why are you watching the show?
Well, in the right doses, just not for 45 minutes. Anyways, Spiral Recon. Spiral Order Recon. And the bumper thing. I got it! Yikes! So here's what we're doing. We're sprinting this show from here on out because we're already over time. So let's do that. This is our Spiral Knights related media, and these are things we definitely want to feature. Z's Shelf made a kitty ghost charm. Zang, can you post these chat
Yeah, let me.
wise for me? Thank you. It is basically just a cat charm, spook-cat charm
I would totally
necklace
pay
thing.
for that.
Yep.
I saw
Yeah.
that on Beckham's Gossip.
Yet more IRL. Beckham's Gossip posts everything, though. That's why. Where was I going with this? Yes, just more handmade things. We've had almost one to feature for a lot of episodes. We had the shield last week, and now this. So cool stuff for that. We have Shadow Agent Neon's SK. Don't you want to punch sometimes? And this is
Yes.
my favorite thing. This little comic. And it's just...
I'm honestly fine with not punching punch, but that's just me because I really don't bug punch all that much.
Well, then that's why you don't know, so you have an uninformed opinion on the matter. But this thing is just hilarious. It should be on the banner on the Spiral Knights website kind of thing, except not. But there you go. We have Fried Snipes Solatron Final Animation, which is just an art. It was an art trade, but we're just featuring it because it's Solatron, and Solatron is a friend of us.
Also really cool.
It's also really cool. I like
I
the
enjoy it.
look of it. When they expand the wings and all that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
So, that's cool. And lastly, speaking of Sir Jinxable put up another video. This is Spiral Knights Anime Episode 5. We're heading somewhere. And the intro for this one was actually it made me laugh. He actually put the Japanese English text for the intro credits and stuff like that. It was like, I see what you did there.
Redacted show.
I just clicked something else by this. I don't know if it's the same person or if it's one of those things that's like it, because I don't. Is this Fried Snipe his name? Yeah. There's he's got a preview called "I'm Back, Cosma." They brought
Yes,
back
that
Boost.
is awesome.
Holy crap, is that ever cool?
Yeah, that is, and who is it? That was Jester GTR, who's he used to be Rogue a long time ago.
No, he is.
And Lizzie is Fried Snipe. So,
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
so yeah, as
That
Eddie's
is
saying in the
that.
chat, star her. Fried Snipe is Lizzie. So yeah, that's probably one of the best SK arts out there in my opinion.
That is so great.
It's Boost getting replaced by Cosma, and exactly what happened.
Oh, is it that picture?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Has it
it's
been
that
has it
picture.
been featured on the Fan Art Friday by SK yet?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna send that off right now to them.
I would think it has, considering it's such a well-known picture.
Is it? Because it's the first time I've seen it, and I follow SK. and I
Really?
look at their fan art. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's been up there.
Honestly, I would think a lot of people would have seen it already.
You'd think, right? It was something that great, but
It's entertaining because of how a lot of people believe that that's the case. It's like, what really happened?
yeah.
Twitter at Spiral Knights
I'm just doing that right
is
now.
where you send fan art stuff. And we're going to skip the Bizarre Banter this week because the show's running long. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, your unique variants.
and see, here's me thinking I'm going to be clever to include in the show notes a discussion topic, a status discussion, a bunch of transmutations, some art, a Bizarre Banter, and then these questions. But
We
do
need
have...
to remember that we have questions that we have to answer at the end of the show.
Well, yeah. So here's what I think we're going to do. If we have time, because these are not directly Spiral Knights related, so these are just this is like bonus material kind of thing. So when we finish the show, we'll do this, and this week we'll have 2 pieces of audio for you. And we'll go ahead and hit these questions on a separate audio. So that's that. We did not actually have any other listener contributions, which is what this section is. This is listener contributions, questions, comments, and wrapping up the show. We do have a music video contest running, which is on our forums, where you can make a video for the audio that we did for all the Spiral Knights Christmas Carol parodies, and make a video of that and post it and send us the link, and we can send you currently a small amount of energy, but if you're donating, we'll feature you all that. The donation rules still apply to the people that like to do that, but it's only energy is what we're taking this time, and we're looking at sponsors. There are some people that we're talking to that are like, yeah, we'd promote this and fund this and stuff if you'd give us a shout out, and we're like, yeah, we don't mind doing that. So the prize may go up, just so you know, and by that I mean almost guaranteedly will go up. So it's currently 300 energy plus.
Who's on your podcast right now?
The rich guy
It's
who
me.
spends things in.
Well,
anyways,
I can't think of a better place but to send you 3,000 CE for the contest.
well, there you go then. And there are 4 songs or 5 songs. How many were there?
Madison's
4?
God, hope I spell this correctly.
It's like 17 minutes long or something, so maybe.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me look.
I remember I sang them, so.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm pretty sure there's 4 songs. So your prize just went up to close to 1,000 energy. So there you go. Thank you, Perronius.
Pleasure.
All right. Sad face, no episode next week, so you get some bonus audio this week instead when we do these questions in just a minute. But
That's
no
what I do
episode
now.
next week because we will be out of town. Lord Hood and I will be. Both of us, conveniently. So,
Have a safe trip.
well, thank you. It was just going to be me, and then I talked him into coming. So there we go. I will shout out on the show to the guy who sent us all these questions, that being Origami Guy 2001, who happens to also be my brother, but that's irrelevant. He likes doing this kind of stuff. So, anyways, yeah, /clap Lord Hood, /clap Perronius, rather. Not Lord Hood /clap
You can clap
Perronius.
at me too. I don't mind.
Well, you're gonna, yeah. Anyways, shouting out to anyone else, I'm gonna shout out to Stella Devil, Greenlink, Maroka, Madam Tigger, and Sir Jinxable, and Sky Scythe, and
Is Tigger spelled with one G or two?
two T-I-double-G-R.
T-I.
Well, even in the game, yes, it was Madam Tigger spelled correctly.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers is no.
Top the minute of the bottom of the minute of spring. Bounty, bounty, fun. The wonderful thing is I'm the only one. I am the only one.
Okay, that
I know
that
some Winnie the
fits.
Pooh jokes that probably aren't appropriate for this podcast, so I don't tell them. But
That was awesome, Perronius. That was the best. People who actually made it to the end of the show, that's your reward. You get that. And then shout out to Humanity. All these people were part of the recording project that I was part of yesterday, the one that I keep talking about. So thanks to all you people, specifically Sky Scythe and Humanity, because the day before, I was like, you know what, we need a game moderator. Here's all your responsibilities. Are you interested? And he said, yep. And he pulled it off. So thanks to Sky Scythe and Humanity for that, both of those guys. That's that. Anyone you guys want to shout out to? Any of you?
I'm gonna make a shout out to HRPB, even though he's probably here anyway, because he tried. He gave me a belated birthday gift.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. See, I think at one point I was probably complaining about about something to cover up the area between my hood and my neck, which cannot be covered up by a scarf, unfortunately. Because of the fact that Spiral Knights glitches a lot of stuff.
So did he give you a dapper combo? Like, what's going on?
No, he gave me a scarf.
Very
Fancy
nice.
scarf.
Nice. All right.
And then he
yes.
offered to get me wings of all things.
Wings on things?
Shadow
of all things.
Valkyrie wings, right?
So honestly, I really don't feel like I need anything for my costume. My costume is kind of set as it is, so until they come up with something that does not clip through my hood, I think I'm probably going to leave it as is. Oh, and he also got me a Shadow Orb so I could level up Venus again. So, shout out to HRPB for being a gift-giving person.
Yeah, I'll shout out
It's
to Herp. I don't know who HRPB is, but... Or... What did you call him, Perronius?
Herb.
Herbaba.
Herb.
Aren't you guys just the meanest?
Yes.
Hyperbole.
So now we're just in the spirit of butchering people's names. We have Herp, and we have Snakes of 17, which isn't really a butcher. It's just saying.
How about Server?
Snakes.
Haven't seen
well,
Server in a
actually,
while.
when you think it's like Snake Sit. Snake Sit, because 7 is like a T.
It's true. All right, that's the end of Perronius. Anyone you want to shout out to?
Just my wife for being patient and knowing that we're 35 minutes past when I should be out getting groceries.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Perronius.
Thank you, honey.
Bye.
Oh, wow.
All right,
That might not save me. We need to end now.
we will
Okay,
end
let's
now.
go,
It's
let's
the
go,
end of
let's go.
episode
She's getting
63.
the mighty
We're going
battle
to we're going to truncate the contact information. The best way to contact us is in game. You could figure that out, or email us at arsenal@squalely.com. All the episodes can be found on our website, which is squalely.com/arsenal, along with all the ways to contact us. Go check that out. Thank you, Perronius, for joining us. Sorry for going late and all that.
Pleasure. Thank you very much, guys. You have a great day. I am now out to try and save my relationship.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
you'll be fine.
She has
Fire
a
her up. It'll make it easier.
Oh, gosh.
she has a mighty battle
Telling
cleaver.
a fat guy to use butter. How original.
Lol.
I did not mean.
Bye, guys.
All right, goodbye, and thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
And drive home safely.
Geared up and ready to go? Thanks for listening to the Arsenal, a Spiral Knights podcast. See links and listen to previous episodes on our website, skaleli.com/arsenal. Send comments, questions, and audio to arsenal@sklayelite.com or give us a call at 1-678-322-7765.